Hello, 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 my friends. Hi there. Woo! It is I. It is I, your friend Mel. And this is Spiritual as Fuck. This is the live show that I do on Facebook and YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where I provide insight, guidance, strategies, tips, and tricks to help you hashtag live enlightened and spiritual as fuck. So, my name is Mel. I am a spiritual, psychic, advisor, medium, and coach. And I love what I do, so I've decided to share my talents, tips, tricks, treasures, and gifts with y'all. So, again, what is it that I do? So, many of you may have seen me at the Awaken Expo in Plymouth Meeting Mall this weekend. It was an amazing time. And for those of you who are watching this who happen to get a reading with me, at that expo. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful, adventurous, amazing experience. But what I do is I make a soul to soul connection with you as a human being. And while using my oracle cards and channeling messages from source, from spirit, from the universe, I give you insight and guidance as to how to use the subtle energies around you to co create, collaborate, and cooperate with everything at your disposal to have a more radiant life, one filled with empowerment, freedom, and of course, love, 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 love. So, some more housekeeping. If you can't wait until Monday to see me or hear from me, then you can read my blog. It is In-Lightened with Mel. It is on Substack. And so I love the Substack platform because not only do I have a blog on there, I have a podcast. I have taken a break from the podcast for a while because I am busy trying to work on another podcast offering. And I'm looking at my lipstick now and it's like, oh, I didn't get that corner. There we go. It's kind of in there now. Now I'm going to keep staring at it. But yeah, so the Substack is a wonderful platform if you want to have writing, if you want to have video offerings, if you want to do podcasting. It's just really a great place to put all of your things. And so if you can't wait till Monday to see me, to hear from me, you can check out my blog, Enlightened with Mel, on Substack, as well as my podcast, Light in the Darkness, is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a few more. Anyways, hi guys. Thank you so much for liking and watching. We're going to move right along into this week's reading, and we start with my cards, the affirmators or affirmators. I don't know which way they want you to pronounce it. I don't care. I like these cards because they give you practical insight as to what to look for this week, how to respond to it in a way that's going to be more effective, more helpful for anybody. So, in these readings, I'm making a soul to soul connection with you, whomever this reaches. So, thank you for sharing your soul with me. So, let's see what we've drawn today with our affirmators. They want us to I'm sorry, I just threw up a little bit inside and outside of my mouth. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is so fucking tricky, sticky. Okay, all right. Let's just see what spirit wants me to hear and know about forgiveness and what the affirmators want us to know and hear about forgiveness. So, forgiveness. Congratulations. You've been given one of the most powerful superpowers there is, forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power. But remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. Forgiveness. As I was doing readings this weekend at the Awaken Center, at the Awaken Expo, the topic of forgiveness came up multiple times. And the first thing I've learned about forgiveness, not only as a reader and a spiritual medium and a coach, but in my own personal development as someone who follows self help gurus, as well as involves and participates in self help programs, not to mention all the therapy that I do. Forgiveness is not about the other person. The forgiveness is about you, about me. When I don't forgive people, I literally am holding a grudge. I have a resentment. And resentment, some very wise people have said this. I don't know who, but I'm going to repeat it. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting another person to die. Resentment is harming you. And so I had to think about how my resentments, which I didn't really think I had any, if any, resentments, and I had to think about how they were affecting my life and how they were showing up. So sometimes resentments, grudges, the things we need to forgive show up in the way that we anticipate events, situations that we're about to encounter. Sometimes when we're stepping into a new situation, we may have flashbacks or have just memories about how stepping into a new situation caused us harm or anxiety or brought about fear the last time we went into a situation like that. And so we step into this new situation with a chip on our shoulder or with our defenses up. That's because we have a bit of a resentment. We have a bit of a grudge that we're still holding based off of a past event for which we need to forgive ourselves and the people involved in that past event so it can stop clouding our current circumstances. Forgiveness is huge for us as the individual because it is literally giving us permission to make mistakes. It's giving us permission to no longer hold on to things that do not serve us. It's giving us permission to open up our hearts again. Because I know for me, when I've been harmed, when I have been besieged by fear, and I hold these grudges and these resentments as defenses against getting harmed again, I am literally blocking myself from the sunlight of the spirit. I am blocking myself from opportunities to learn, grow, and amass tremendous abundance. Forgiveness. If you have a hard time forgiving yourself, it is definitely worth connecting with your favorite spiritual psychic medium and advisor. You can do that with me. Or getting a therapist. Throw money at the problem. Get a therapist. Talk about what it is that keeps showing up in your life and keeping you in a defensive posture. Talk about that thing in your life that keeps you on high anxiety, hyper vigilant, or hyper awareness, right? The thing is that this life is not easy, and it gets harder and harder the more baggage we need to carry with us. So forgiveness is an opportunity for us to drop the baggage, an opportunity to set it aside so we can find a levity, we can find a new perspective, so we can be more effective in collaborating, cooperating, and co-creating with the energies around us. I realized that I had to release a resentment I had against spirit, God, Jesus, Buddha, Satan, Allah, Pele, Kali, Hecate, all of the higher powers out there. I had no idea I was holding on resentment to universal forces, right? And so I had to forgive them. Yes, you can forgive God. You can forgive Jesus. You can forgive all of those powers that the world, society tells you that we have to ask for forgiveness from them, right? We can forgive them too, because in that forgiveness, we understand that as mortals, as humans, we can assume a position of humility by asking them for forgiveness for turning them away, for shutting them out, for not being on board for their grand plan when things didn't go the way that we had expected it to go. So I've had to ask spirit for forgiveness and given forgiveness to spirit because in my mortal mind, anything spirit did that deviated from what I wanted was wrong and bad. And then I shut myself off. So forgiveness goes a long way in with any situation. And it isn't something that you do that just one time and then it's over. Forgiveness is something we have to continually go back towards, because anytime there is fear, there is something in that fear that we need to forgive in order to abate the fear, in order to remove the fear. And so let us start to become a little bit more accepting of the term forgiveness, perhaps even a little excited about the act of forgiveness, because this doesn't mean condoning bad behavior, but what it says is I'm no longer going to hold myself prisoner to what you do or what you did. I'm going to give myself the grace to move forward with dignity and honor and faith that everything's going to be all right. And then I don't need to defend myself against you because I am protected, guided, and loved. So, what a very, very powerful card. And I love the way that the affirmators say that forgiveness is our superpower. And y'all know I love superpowers. Moving right along, let's see what else we need to know about this week. Hmm. So I can already tell that this week I'm going to have to do a lot of forgiving of myself and others around me. And so that might be telling me that things are not going to go my way, but that's all right. At this stage of the game, I understand that when things go my way, I sell myself short. So I got to leave space for myself to be surprised and enamored with the unknown. Moving on, divine lineage. Okay, this card is saying that we are descended from very powerful, magical, sacred beings. In our DNA, we have magic, we have faith, we have superpowers in it. And hello, every time you take a breath, you are literally pulling in the same power that is creating galaxies and creating planets. You're pulling that power into your lungs. So, of course, magic is in your DNA. And so, for many of us who are having a hard time forgiving, it's not as difficult as we think it is. For many of us who have a hard time letting go of our defenses, for many of us who are having a hard time having faith and feeling and having a new perspective, they're saying it's not as difficult as you think it is, because you are magical, because you are a descendant of powerful, powerful beings, and you do have the power inside you. You just have to learn how to use it. And that's when people like me and other light workers come in, as well as therapists. Peace. So this week we're going to be trying to aim towards peace, okay? So things that are coming down the pike, what we're going to ask forgiveness for. We also have to remember that we are very powerful human beings. So forgiveness is not going to take us out. Even somebody's bad behavior is not going to take us out. So we must always try to aim for peace. In conflict resolution, any conflicts that show up this week, any sort of conflicts on the outside of your brain or the inside of your brain, you want to ask yourself, how will this resolution, the solution to this conflict, going to lead me to more peace? We want you to choose the pathway to peace. There's a saying that suffering is an option. Peace is what we get to choose. All right. How about this week? We practice forgiveness. We remember how sacred and powerful we really truly are. And we choose not to suffer and instead attempt to embrace peace anytime we can. Now, choosing peace, like most things, is like flexing a muscle. You have to practice choosing peace. And the best way that I've learned how to practice peace is to shut the fuck up. Yes, shut up. Sometimes when you are in conflict and their emotions are high and everybody is screaming and whatever, you have to be quiet and take a step back so you can gird your loins, so you can collect your senses and then respond rather than react to the people, the situation, the thoughts that are inside or outside of yourself. So give yourself the gift of peace by taking a step back and shutting up, either restraining your thumbs, restraining the pen, and restraining your tongue. That is a great way to at least open the door to peace and allow you space to take a breath and practice making a choice other than suffering, right? And next we have beauty. Hello. So we need to forgive ourselves, forgive others. Remember that we are sacred, beautiful, divine human beings who are choosing peace, not suffering, and are tremendously beautiful, right? Now, beauty isn't on the outside, it starts within. So if you want to feel more beauty, do beautiful things. We cannot think ourselves into being beautiful creatures. We have to act ourselves into being beautiful creatures. And how do we do this? Are we kind? Do we listen before we speak? Do we have sympathy? Do we have empathy? Are we practicing compassion? Are we taking care of the outside? Are we giving ourselves the exfoliation we need, dyeing our hair if we dislike the way our hair looks? Are we exercising? Are we filling ourselves up and coating ourselves with the things that help us feel more beautiful? And if you're not, it's time to get on it. Forgive yourself for any sort of thoughts, feelings, or ideas that told you that you were ugly and you were unworthy. Forgive yourself for that and ask forgiveness from anybody who's in your life who is who's just an asshole and that you've been fighting against. Anyone that's kept you from choosing peace. Then we want you to choose peace, right? Don't choose to suffer, instead to choose peace. And why? Because you are a powerful, sacred, amazing, magical human being and you are deserving and worthy of beauty. Beautiful thoughts, ideas, things that start on the inside and exude. They emanate from you towards the outside. Okay? These are all things that you are worthy of, things that you deserve. And so when you have a hard time finding them yourself, reach out to spirit, the universe. Reach out to people that you love and you trust so they can help assist you on this journey. And so, moving right along to our ascended masters, all right, why do we do this? Why do we try to choose peace? Why do we focus on the beauty inside and outside of ourselves? Why do we have to remind ourselves that we are powerful human beings? The same power that creates galaxies and planets is coursing through our veins. Why do we do any of that crap? Why? Why do we forgive? For freedom. Freedom. Why do we insist on being prisoner to shit that is just insane? It is ludicrous to choose slavery. And when we hold grudges and hold on to resentments, we are choosing slavery. When we decide that we are less than and we don't see the beauty that is in our nature, the beauty in the world around us, the beauty that is outside of us, when we choose to not see the beauty, we are not free. We are choosing slavery. When we choose to let other people in situations outside of us have more power than we do and choose to torture ourselves and weaponize ourselves with the thoughts, the behaviors, the situations outside of us, we are choosing slavery. When we forget that we are powerful, magical, radiant buildings, radiant beings with all the magic of the ages coursing in our DNA, we are choosing slavery. We remember, we choose beauty, we choose peace, we choose to forgive for freedom. This week, the concept of freedom is going to show up for you. And so the question is, what are you going to do when you notice the shackles on your wrists, the shackles on your feet, the shackles in your mind? What are you going to do? First off, notice they're there. Notice when you're a prisoner to your phone. Notice when you're a prisoner to your refrigerator. Notice when you're a prisoner to your needs and your wants and your lusts. Ask yourself, how does that make you feel? Ask yourself, do those choices, those things that you're prisoner of, do they make you feel peaceful? Do they make you feel powerful? Do they make you feel beautiful? And do they make you feel defensive? If they make you feel defensive and they don't make you feel peaceful or beautiful or powerful, then you know that you are enslaved. And next thing you have to do is to strive for freedom. Freedom is our birthright, but freedom ain't free. What are we going to do in order to gain our freedom? Sometimes it means refraining from doing the things that we thought made us happy. So we start small, right? Maybe first thing in the morning, we don't pick up our phones and find ourselves scrolling way too late in the day. Maybe instead of going to grab those cookies or those cakes late at night when we are feeling the urge, the lust, the desire for something sweet, maybe we don't grab them. Maybe we make a nice cup of tea, or maybe we lay there in bed and we hug ourselves, or we massage our hands and we just let the moment pass because we no longer want to be prisoner to our tastes and our lusts. We want to have more freedom. Maybe when we encounter somebody for which maybe they owe us a forgiveness, but we're still holding resentment and being defensive towards them, maybe we realize that that keeps us sick. And so we offer forgiveness to them, at least in our minds, if not out loud. So we're no longer prisoner to what they did in the past or what they do now. So we don't have to have them living in our brains rent free. Freedom is the reason why I do this. I realized a long time ago that I was a prisoner to my stinking thinking, to my drives, to my compulsions. I realized that I had no power whatsoever to help myself. And that made me feel really, 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 really bad. But doing this work, getting closer to spirit, connecting with others has shown me that I am a powerful person just like you guys. And if I'm powerful, then you're definitely powerful. And if I started to find the beauty in all of things, if I started to choose peace, and if I extended forgiveness to myself and others, and remember that just like everybody else, I had the power of the galaxies coursing through my veins. So I was worthy of the beauty, of the peace, of the forgiveness, of the grace, that I would find more freedom. And I've done that. I have found more freedom by not choosing to put myself into slavery. I've found more freedom by choosing peace, even when it made me feel uncomfortable. So this week, hi guys, thank you. This week, you're gonna probably encounter some situations that are going to ask you, is this gonna lead you closer to peace or further away from peace? Is this gonna bring you closer to beauty or further away from beauty? Is this going to bring you deeper into defensiveness or further away from defensiveness? Is this going to bring you closer to freedom or closer to slavery? I challenge you to notice it, write it down, and write down the feelings you feel accompanying those situations. And then I double dog dare you to reach out. Shoot me a message. You can DM me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. You can even call me. My phone number is somewhere on the web. It's not hard to find me. You can reach out to not just me, but reach out to your friends, reach out to your families and say, hey, you know what? I feel like a prisoner to my eating habits. I feel like a prisoner to my drinking. I feel like a prisoner to sex. I feel like a prisoner to whatever it is that is keeping you defensive. Whatever it is that is keeping you from seeing the beauty in yourself and in life around you, whatever it is that is keeping the peace away from you, and whatever it is that is making you forget how beautiful, sacred, magical, and powerful you are. That is the thing that is keeping you enslaved, and that is the thing keeping you from freedom. So now it's time to talk about it. I have to say that this is a very apropos topic because think about our political climate. Think about what's going on today in the world, where our democracy is being challenged in so many subtle and overt ways. Although on a large scale, it may seem that our freedoms are being curtailed, are being taken away. There is a personal freedom that each and every one of us has. And we need to feed that personal freedom. We need to understand that they can attempt to take away the large scale freedoms, but our personal freedoms, they can never take away. They have to catch us first. So, this is my fervent wish and desire to help you understand that you are the master of your personal freedom. And when you are activated in your personal freedom, when you are empowered with your personal freedom, you're going to give permission to everybody else to activate their own personal freedom as well. And with that massive activation, we're going to start to change the world. We're going to change the landscape that we're in. And we're going to understand that there are no laws, there are no people, there are no situations that are more powerful than the power that is creating planets and creating galaxies, and that's putting air into your lungs. Our party system is not putting air into your lungs. Your car isn't putting air into your lungs. Amazon isn't putting air into your lungs. Where is that shit coming from? Who can take that shit away from you? Even aside for death, even in death, that shit can't be taken away from you. Maybe you won't be breathing, but your energy will still be there, right? They can't kill that either. So, personal freedom is going to show up for a lot of us this week. And this is just an opportunity for you to understand that this is a moment to learn. Learn what it means for you and how it shows up, so you can reach out and fill your toolbox with all the tools, the insight, wisdom, and guidance that you need to keep asserting your personal freedom and lift others up so they too can assert their own personal freedom as well. And that is what it means to hashtag live enlightened and spiritual as fuck. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. Please be sure to share this episode with your friends and family. Like, subscribe, shoot me a message. If you encounter any sort of difficulties with the concepts that we've been talking about today, reach out. Reach out, okay? It is all about us all lifting each other up, because we're going to need each other in the end. We really are. When the zombie apocalypse happens, we're going to want to form a team, and you're going to want to know that your teammates are really solid citizens, people of good character, full of hope and empowerment and love. So I wish you all the best today and tomorrow. I'm looking forward to connecting with many of you in the days to come. And thank you so much for living hashtag living enlightened and spiritual as fuck. I will see you next Monday. Have a great one. Bye. And.